Hello there, you're welcome to another insightful, educative and informative episode of Diplomatic Affairs. The show is on Pan-African television every Saturday between the hours of 4 and 5. We are broadcasting in 46 African countries with a global audience via social media, that is Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you find yourself in the world, you can always catch up with us in the world of diplomacy and international relations. This is your #1 place to go when it comes to all the issues happening in the diplomatic community right here in Ghana. My name is Harriet Nartey. I will be back with more right after this break.
Hello, information.
Madam,
Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, aren't they?
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I even called. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasacco fast floor.
Trahuanko, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg going to catch
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. Yomo, the estimate is real. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasacco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster and stronger building.
Oh, madam. It is done.
Wow.
Trasacco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster and affordable.
This is a Trasacco construction product.
Welcome back. The show is Diplomatic Affairs. My name is Harriet Nartey. Now to our first story, Ghana is making strides at the international level as it assumes presidency of the United Nations Security Council. Now, Ghana has assumed presidency of the United Nations Security Council for the period 2022 to 2023 on Tuesday, November 1st. Now, during this time, Ghana will preside over the meetings of the council, that's adoptions, debates and consultations. Under its mandate, it will also represent the Security Council in its capacity as organ of the United Nations. Now, speaking at the open ministerial debate chaired by Ghana's chief diplomat, Her Excellency Shirley Botchwey, she said in its capacity as the president of UN Security Council, it will prioritize enhancing global peace and security for sustainable and inclusive development on the African continent. Here is the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Her Excellency Shirley Botchwey, outlining priorities of the Council as she takes charge. But before then, is Ghana's permanent representative to the United Nations.
That this would be our 7th presidency since we first joined the Security Council in 1962-1963. And we've been on the council, this being the 4th time. I would also want to take this opportunity to congratulate our colleagues from the Gabonese mission who did an excellent work in leading the council for the month of October. It was a busy month, 4 signature events, quite a flurry of activities in terms of council activities. And we are grateful to them for the very strong leadership that they brought to the council. We hope to build upon their very clear African focus during their presidency, and in a way that we hope would help to address the threats to peace and security on the continent of Africa. We will therefore be abiding by the shared A3 presidency commitment, which among others requires us to have effective coordination with other UN organs to ensure that we consult with the PBC for advisory on some of the files of the Council, to take into account gender balance in the organization and participation of meetings, and also to involve the regional actors in the matters before the Council. As you would very well know, the month of November has a number of competing international events. We have COP27, which will be taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, from 6th to 18th of November. The G20 summit will also be taking place in Bali from 15th to 16th November. There would also be the FIFA World Cup, which will be commencing on the 20th of November. And of course, there will be Thanksgiving holidays, which more or less signifies the commencement of the holiday season here. And so what we've tried to do in this program of work is to ensure that we've accommodated all these elements in a way that reflects the competing interests of the international community, but also which ensures that the Council is able to carry out its work as expected. During the month, and in line with our priority theme for the membership of the Security Council, which is enhancing global peace and security for sustainable and inclusive development, we would be organizing two signature events. The first signature event, which would be on the 3rd of November, would be convened under the agenda item on peace building and sustainable peace. And it will be an open debate on the topic integrating effective resilience building in peace operations for sustainable development. This is a meeting that is an open meeting, open debate, and it will be chaired by the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey. The purpose of the debate is to seek a focused conversation on how best to balance the kinetic and non-kinetic aspects of peace operations in a way that helps to restore peace and address some of the underlying drivers of conflict, particularly on the continent of Africa. In respect of our second signature event, which will be on the 10th of November, this would also take place under the agenda item, Threats to International Peace and Security. And it will be the topic, Counter-Terrorism, an Imperative for Global Peace, Security, and Development.
I shall now make a statement in my capacity as the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Republic of Ghana. Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, let me begin by thanking all the ministers and officials who have traveled from their capitals, and indeed all the members of the Council and non-Council members for your participation in today's open debate. I thank you, Mr. Secretary General, for your important statement and welcome the clarity of your views on how best we can integrate effective resilience building in peace operations for sustainable peace. I equally thank Assistant Secretary General Martha Pobi, Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, Commissioner of Political Affairs, Peace and Security of the African Union Commission, Mrs. Mary Robinson, former President of Ireland and Chair of the Elders, and Ms. Karen Landgren, Executive Director of the Security Council Report, for their informative and insightful briefings. Excellencies, as a Council, we have a primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. Getting the right balance of the instruments we deploy for peace operations is crucial and critical for ensuring that the peace we seek is sustained across the world. The link between peace and development is clear for all. The latest report on the SDGs has stated that cascading and interlinked crises are putting the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in grave danger, along with peace and security and humanity's very own survival. We agree with your response to the report, Mr. Secretary General. Quote, "We must rise higher to rescue the Sustainable Development Goals and stay true to our promise of a world of peace, dignity, and prosperity on a healthy planet," unquote. We therefore must ensure funding across the peace continuum if we are to achieve any measure of success in addressing the protracted and complex conflicts we presently confront. In addition, there is a need for a strong ecosystem to make the triple cross pillar nexus a reality and promote the transformative, prevention-focused, and conflict-sensitive responses that are required to accelerate action to achieve the 2030 agenda. Ghana is concerned that not enough resources have been devoted to non-military interventions in peace operations in comparison to the military component. As the 2015 High-Level Independent Panel on Peace Operations notes, changes in conflict may be fast outpacing the ability of UN peace operations to respond. That sustainability gap now threatens current peacekeeping missions as a number of host countries of peacekeeping missions turn to interventions by outside forces, while at the same time limiting the mandate of peace missions. We are even more concerned that poor countries shoulder the burden of addressing the socio-economic and political complexities and challenges that drive the rising levels of terrorism and violent extremism, while at the same time bearing the cost of military operations needed to defeat the terrorists. Integrating effective resilience building in peace operations has to be a central preoccupation of this Council if we are to remain a credible guarantor of peace and security around the world. If any evidence were needed, we need look no further than the Sahel, where the stability and viability of states are tested daily, with violence and deaths rising with each attack. But the Sahel, which according to the latest edition of the Global Terrorism Index experienced 35% of terrorism-related deaths in the world, is not the only region where traditional response of the Council fails to meet the nature of the threat. Excellencies, it is clear that sustainable peace today requires that even as we consider ways to further reform peacekeeping to ensure adequate programmatic funding, we also look at ways to make the successes of military operations against terrorists more durable by addressing the underlying factors that exacerbate the terrorist threat. In the Sahel and coastal West Africa, the impacts of climate change, including displacement and food insecurity, poverty and exclusion, low levels of education, youth unemployment, among others, create a fertile ground for radicalization and recruitment. Finding a solution to the widening gap between the expectations of citizens and the capacity of the state to deliver on public goods and maintain state presence is as much a security question as it is a development resilience challenge. This Council cannot ignore that concern relevant to international peace and security, which has traditionally been considered as part of peacekeeping transitions. Excellencies, allow me to make the following points as a way forward to integrating effective resilience building in peace operations for sustainable peace. First, there is an overwhelming and urgent need for UN peace operations to be reconfigured to ensure a situationally determined balance between military actions aimed at restoring peace, including through defeating terrorism, and non-military measures to address the underlying causes of conflict. We hope that this debate will lead to a process that transforms the peace operation model to respond to the conditions of today. Resilience building cannot be left to the tail end of peacekeeping. It must be a key objective even at the beginning of peace operations. Secondly, the Council has to rise up to its mandate and deal with the critical recommendation from the HIPPO report on the need for new modalities to deal with terrorism and violent extremism, the emerging threats to peace and security in our world today. The threats to international peace and security continue to multiply every day that no action is taken. Thirdly, We need to operationalize the Council's agenda on youth and women, making them essential pillars of the United Nations support for resilience building in addressing the present challenges of insecurity. Women and youth face peculiar challenges in their communities as they are disproportionately impacted by conflict and violence. Finally, while the different organs of the United Nations have separate responsibilities that impact the peace development nexus, in practice, the sum of our efforts does not add up to conditions in which peace thrives. It is important for this Council to encourage coherent actions across the United Nations system targeted at the resilience-building agenda for sustainable peace. The collective contribution of the system has to be integral to the way mandates are adopted and executed. To conclude, our capacity to deliver peace and security rests on our ability to understand and address the underlying conditions for conflict as much as our ability for conflict management. I hope that this open debate gets us closer to that understanding. I thank you.
Now to our next story, still on the ministry in charge of Ghana's foreign policy. The Foreign Minister, Honorable Shirley Ayorkor, has urged the general public not to pay attention to reports that the United Arab Emirates has imposed visa ban on Ghanaians and citizens of other countries seeking to visit Dubai. According to the statement, some new measures have been put in place to ensure that travelers are safe. And I quote, "The attention of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has been drawn to news circulating on various media platforms indicating that authorities in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, have announced a visa ban on Ghana and 20 other nationalities seeking to travel to the UAE with immediate effect." According to the publication, the countries affected by the visa ban include Ghana, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Cameroon, Nigeria, Liberia, Burundi, Republic of Guinea, the Gambia, Togo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Senegal, Benin, Ivory Coast, Congo, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Comoros, and the Dominican Republic. The said publication assigned no reason for the ban, but social media sources have alleged that it is aimed at keeping away visitors from African countries who usually overstay their visa in the UAE. The ministry wishes to assure the general public that it has received no such communication from the authorities in the United Arab Emirates, and as such, the story should be disregarded. Meanwhile, information available to the ministry indicates that the UAE has reviewed the requirements for its tourist and visit visas. The revision of visa regimes and requirements include the following: the 30-day single entry visa have been put on hold. A 60-day multiple visa entry regime is currently in force, and travelers to the UAE should secure a round-trip ticket and a hotel booking prior to the visa application. While assuring the general public to remain calm, the ministry wishes to advise traveling Ghanaians to observe the new requirements put in place by the UAE. And this is a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. Now, this confirms the United Arab Emirates Ambassador to Ghana's response to the subject.
UAE, we have adjusted the new visa system, which is more flexible with the foreigners, which makes Dubai or the UAE easy to reach. But for the ban, I can assure you, we didn't receive, or there is no official statement about it.
The government of Ghana has reiterated that the ban on direct-to-home recruitment of Ghanaian labor migrants house helps to homes in the Gulf states remain in full force until further notice. This came on the back of the repatriation of some 400 stranded Ghanaians at the Al Tawadi medical facility in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates in August this year. This was contained in a statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. And I quote, "The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration wishes to refer to its press release of 18th August 2022 and to provide an update to the general public on the stranded Ghanaians at the Al Tawadi Medical Center in Dubai as follows. The Ministry, in collaboration with some organizations and public-spirited individuals, have so far successfully repatriated over 450 Ghanaian nationals who were stranded at the Al Tawadi Medical Center in Dubai. The recent evacuation involved 80 of our compatriots with the assistance of the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Humanitarian and Charity Establishment in Dubai between 24th and 27th October 2022 via Ethiopian Airlines. Additionally, 20 Ghanaians were evacuated with the support of an individual and friend of the government of Ghana, Mr. Abdul Razak Dahi, in September 2022 on board Egypt Air. The ministry takes this opportunity to extend appreciation to the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Humanitarian and Charity Establishment, Mr. Abdul Razak Dahir, and all those who assisted the stranded Ghanaians for their kind gesture. The ministry wishes to reiterate that the ban on direct-to-home recruitment of Ghanaian labor migrants house helps to homes in the Gulf states remain in force until further notice. The ban, however, does not affect the lawful recruitment of skilled workers, non-domestic house helps to the Gulf states. The ministry advises traveling Ghanaians to desist from embarking on journeys via illegal routes to various parts of the world, since this almost always has an unfortunate outcome." Unquote. That is a statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration regarding stranded Ghanaians from the UAE. You're still watching Diplomatic Affairs. We have so many stories and I will present them right after this break.
Hello, information.
Madam,
Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, Adlai.
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I didn't call you. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasacco fast floor.
Trahuako, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg going to catch a guy.
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. Yomo, the estimate is free. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasacco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster and stronger building.
Oh, madam. It is done.
Wow.
Trasacco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster and affordable.
This is a Trasacco construction product.
Welcome back. Now let's jump on to some National Day celebrations within the diplomatic community. Now, Spain marks its National Day right here in Accra. The Kingdom of Spain, through its mission worldwide on October 12 each year, celebrates National Day, a very important day on the calendars of the Spanish people. It commemorates the day in 1492 when the first Columbus expedition claimed the Americans for Spain. Speaking at this year's event since the coronavirus pandemic in 2 years, the representative of Spain to Ghana, His Excellency Ambassador Javier Gutierrez, in his remarks said Spain is committed to partnering Ghana for continued stability and its role as a leading actor in continental integration.
Fine, hello.
But we need a box for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my Pues no. ¿Va a estar aquí un par de años?
However, the Russian aggression against Ukraine has plunged the world into a deep economic, energy and food crisis, which is taking a heavy toll on Africa. We are working hard to reverse the most negative consequences. Among other measures, Spain has committed around 237 million euros for global food security over the next 3 years. We commend Ghana, our host country, for condemning this aggression. Thank you so much, Ghana. It is now more than ever that we must stand up for democracy, human rights and the rule of law, for women empowerment. This is something that unites Spain and Ghana and cements our partnership. Ghana is a priority country for Spain in Africa, a source of stability and a leading actor of continental integration through AFTA. We have reinforced our already strong bilateral partnership. In 2021, we had the honor of receiving President Akufo-Addo in Spain.
Relationship between Ghana and Spain dates back to November 1967 and have been very, very long. Our relations have blossomed in football and mutually beneficial cooperation since 1989, when Spain established its resident diplomatic mission in Ghana and received a further boost in 2004 when Ghana also opened its mission in Madrid. Bilateral relations between our two countries have deepened progressively and have in fact been characterized by cooperation in areas such as education, sports, arts and culture, trade and investment, as well as in security and defense. And I have no doubt that our relations will continue to flourish in the years ahead.
Now, the Ghana-South Africa Business Chamber, in collaboration with the Ghana-Netherlands Business, Culture and Council, has organized a networking cocktail event to upturn Ghana's gloomy business climate and to also bring together businesses operating under these two organizations to connect, share ideas, and explore avenues of working together.
all of your sentiments. We're in our 5th edition of this program, and probably no more important time right now because of the very tough economic conditions that we're facing. Working together, collaborating, assisting and helping each other. So all the 5 years working together, we do hope that the networking continues, simply because we have to. In the spirit of the South African Rainbow Nations, our High Commissioner will speak more about the philosophy that we approach and use to working with the international community in Ghana. Not only about making profits in our business, but being good corporate citizens as well.
The idea is to network, to indulge in the music, the beverages that are available to you, and just for us to network and have a session to network, but also notwithstanding to say that there's a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, let's go together. And I think this is what it actually means. Together we can do more. And I'd like to just reiterate what Grant has said. In the spirit of Ubuntu in South Africa, we say that I am because of you. And on this very same tennis court, when I moved into this residence, I then had a conversation with Grant, and I said, Grant, you know, for the past 2 years that I arrived in Accra at the end of 2020, it was at the height of the COVID pandemic, which has destabilized all global value chains. And we were not able to interact, we were not able to meet as business corporates, just to interact and share our experiences. And now we have an opportunity post-COVID, and we sat and we decided that let's use this tennis court. And as Mandela said that with sports you can breach all divides. With sports you can build. Sports has the power to unite people. And so that's the concept of the Grace Mason tennis tournament, which subsequently led to the Rainbow Nations tennis tournament, with the idea of just giving back to society, and as responsible South African investors, that we also give back to the communities. And I know that we are traversing in difficult economic times, not only in Ghana, but the rest of the continent and the world. But I would like to just thank all the corporates for your resilience, that you have been resilient, notwithstanding COVID, notwithstanding all other economic difficulties, that we are still here, and together we will overcome all these difficulties, and together we can be the change that we want to see.
The economic hardship that Ghana is facing is exceptional, and I know that it affects all of you. It affects existing businesses, and it also affects the businesses that are interested to expand their business in Ghana. And that is one of the missions that we, both Grace and I, have, is to promote that kind of expansion. And that is difficult at this point in time. But we need to overcome, and we will overcome. I won't sing "We shall overcome" this time, but I'm sure we shall overcome these difficult times. But we need to stick together, as Grace said. We need this kind of collaboration. We need this kind of interaction. And I'm very privileged that we, with South Africa, not only share a common history, but also a language. Afrikaans and Dutch, they're different languages, but they're very close to each other.
Limited, Accra Brewery, MTN Ghana, the Farmer Access Foundation, who are supporting many to receive affordable healthcare across the whole continent.
I'm not going to go any further. Thank you all for all your support.
We'll come back a little later on for a raffle. And they were going to give us a little bit of music to let the spirits flow. And I guess...
Now, Ghana's presidency of the United Nations Security Council seems to be making a lot of headlines as the ambassador of the People's Democratic of Algeria to Ghana, His Excellency Ali Redjel, has expressed delight over the consultation with Ghana as a member and now the president of the UN Security Council with a view to consolidate stability and security in Africa through the promotion of dialogue in the settlement of conflicts without interferences in external matters.
Madam, you are welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Algeria is also willing to explore all opportunities in order to give its relations with Ghana a substantial economic content, especially in terms of trade and investment, and thus addressing the major challenges of food security, climate change and adaptation, as well as energy transition. This strategic vision of bilateral cooperation will undoubtedly give concrete content to the African continental free trade area and whose ultimate objective to create a single African market and an integrated development of the continent. With the enormous economic potentials and wide-ranging development plans, and despite the current economic hardship, Ghana is poised to become a hub on the road to Africa economic integration. For its part, the new Algeria, driven by the objectives of the African Agenda 2063, has resolutely committed itself to key projects with African countries in the fields of energy, transport, telecommunication, and the diversification of trade, with the ultimate goal of making the integration of Africa effective. I would like to mention here the realization of the 4,000-kilometer long trans-Saharan gas pipeline mega project, which will link Nigeria, Niger, Algeria, and Europe, and the strategic fiber optic project connecting Algeria, Nigeria, Niger, Mauritania, and Chad. These later projects, which aims at developing the regional digital economy, constitutes a tangible model of successful and fruitful partnership. The Algiers-Lagos Trans-Saharan Motorway, which aims to serve the entire sub-region of the Maghreb and the Sahel, and not to forget the launching this year of a shipping route between Algiers, Nouakchott, and Dakar, and the resumption of air services between Algiers and certain African capitals like Bamako, Niamey, Ouagadougou, Dakar, and Abidjan. This way, ladies and gentlemen, and in this perspective, I would like to express my appreciation and thanks to the officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration for their excellent cooperation and coordination with the Algerian diplomatic representation in order to speed up the negotiations process of the multitude of legal instruments for cooperation which will certainly give a new dynamics to the cooperation and cooperation.
As we join you to celebrate this auspicious occasion, our two peoples indeed cannot forget our common struggle for independence from colonial rule and the significant role played by Ghana's first president, Dr. Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and the leaders of Algerian Revolution, and their commitment to ensuring that our two peoples, and indeed all Africans, took charge of our destiny, held control of our economic and natural resources, and promoted Pan-Africanism. It was in that spirit that the great philosopher Frantz Fanon became ambassador of the provisional government of the Algerian Republic to Ghana in 1958. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the authors of that great period of Pan-Africanism remain relevant today, as recent global development have brought to the fore the need for our continent not only maintained but strengthened our brotherly solidarity, ensure our continent's sufficiency in food and other products, and deepened intra-African trade. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to state that the bilateral relations between Ghana and Algeria have remained strong and fruitful over the years and has been characterized by cooperation in various fields, which include education and scholarships for Ghanaian students, defense and security cooperation, among others. We look forward to our two countries expounding the scope of our cooperation, as well as explore new areas of cooperation for our mutual benefit. Our cooperation at the multilateral level also remains strong, and our two countries, while supporting our respective candidatures to the positions of international organizations, including the United Nations and the African Union, and are committed to supporting efforts that promote sustainable development, the respect for human rights and the rule of law, the peaceful resolution of conflicts, the fight against terrorism and extremism, and climate change. Furthermore, our two countries share a commitment to Africa's peace and security, as well as an economically integrated Africa. For this reason, we believe that Ghana and Algeria can work together to improve their trade relations by taking advantage of the provisions under the African Continental Free Trade Area. I therefore take this opportunity to invite Algerian investors to partner with their Ghanaian counterparts to launch into the African market and explore the possibilities of joint ventures and other business relationships to help build Africa's economy.
But let me tell you, if you get one take one. Save one for me. Save one.
Well, I'm sure you have heard all about our trip to Europe, but I bet you haven't seen everything yet. Well, myself and the team decided to bring you the highlights from the event in Zurich, Switzerland. So take a look.
TV station, and so diplomatic affairs TV station, and so it's now we get interactive with Ghanaians in the diaspora, Ghanaians abroad.
Make you wake up. Who they come if you don't be party, come in later. If your girlfriend no go, call your side chick, make sure they come. I'm a Samantha buffet, walk up your cake, 5 guests there, what she say, on your champagne, you go away, man can't tell me about the baby. Yalla party, if them, you teach us, baby, the fuck, I'm a Milan, I'm a Dantama. I'm a Milan, I'm a Dantama. ehu Christian, ehu Muslim, ehu Sofo, ehu Konfo. Kata sesha proye, mono shares one year. Ebi mukoni izuta. Obi asa oye bad man. Emiti lecture, but I don't know that somebody do. Tell it yeah. For the whole town, Pinata with the Bufu and Visa, Obocho, Willa, Yoguba, but the beach will be your Cosina, but they along with him and paying that when I should be do what they hate you do, because I know what my baby did to do. I am the Masha and the one of my issue, Kamaka High, sweet, Nakino, the Papa was sweet, the way I flex with you, one of my teeth, but what did you do? What I was submitting. As a most of the first car, I have a made with the superstar. Ayorkor, are we having fun? Ayorkor.
Right, so that was the renaissance of Culture Ghana in Zurich, Switzerland, which seeks to promote Ghanaian culture and influence in mainland Europe and everywhere around the world. I hope you enjoyed that episode because I'm still reliving this episode every now and then. This is where we draw the curtains for today's episode of Diplomatic Affairs, and I am so happy that you made time to join us on today's edition of the show. My name is Harriet, and I look forward to seeing you same time next week.